Hello, folks. I'm Jessica Chobot, coming to you from E3 PAX West Park City, South by Southwest, San Diego Comic-Con, and a lot of the buzz is from what Dell is doing right behind me.
This is the world's smallest 13-inch 2-in-1.
We're here showing off our brand new Inspiron gaming desktop.
You'll be able to plug and play, you can be off exploring. You have to see it to believe it. It's a big wow factor.
Oh, that's like magic.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Jessica Chobot.
Hi, everybody. Hello. Thank you for joining us here on a relatively early CES, so you all are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, right? Yes? Yes? Yes. All right, I'm Jessica Chobot, as you saw. I've been working with Dell for about 5 years now. You may have seen me as sort of pre-roll to some of your local movie theaters because I do a lot of work for them in that regard. I get to be your host today, so welcome, and thank you for joining us, and I hope you're having a wonderful CES so far. So we've got an exciting event planned for you throughout the next couple of hour and a half, roughly. New hardware and software introductions. We've got product demonstrations and guest appearances, including Twilight Saga actress, activist, and entrepreneur Nikki Reed. So she'll be joining us. So we've got a lot to squeeze in the next hour and a half. The conversation, however, will continue over at the Dell Experience, which is located down the hall at the Yardbird after the event, and then also throughout the rest of the week. So for the press and analysts here, make sure and stick around. We've got a 15-minute Q&A at the end of the show to answer any additional questions that you might have. So let's get started with our first speaker today, who is going to take us back in time just a little bit, President of Dell Client Solutions, Sam Bird.
5 years ago, something happened. Any of you guys remember where you were 5 years ago? Hey, that's okay, awesome. Tech audience, I like that answer. Some of you, all of you, were sitting here. Maybe like Rob, you guys were so excited as we go back in time 5 years ago at the newly launched Windows 8 and the success of that operating system. You guys remember that? And hey, how about the state of the PC industry? I know some of my friends at Wall Street, the pundits way smarter than me, had declared our industry dead at that point in time. So I think you guys saw that, and maybe like my friend Rob, you guys spent all January in Las Vegas, forget about this day, and bet it all on black. The world was coming to an end. You might as well go all in. That sound good? Yeah, okay. That's probably not a good thing to do. That's what made the casinos so big. Hey, I remember where I was, though, 5 years ago, and I was not here. I was down in Austin, Texas, in our R&D lab with Ed Boyd and our design team, thinking about and imagining what was possible with our recently launched XPS 13. And I'll tell you, at that time, when our industry was in a really challenging position, it's when we saw the opportunity in doing great edge devices. And we made the decision to invest in this business and lead in PC design and innovation. And I'll tell you, as we spin the clock forward now, 5 years to today, that commitment to innovation has really paid off. When we see the preliminary 2017 share results later this week, I'm going to be a little crazy. I'm going to walk out on a limb. Now, it's a pretty sturdy limb. It's not like the end of the trees and the kind of scraggly branches. But I'm going to walk out on a limb, and I'm going to predict that we'll have delivered 5 years of share gains in this business. You guys like that? 5 consecutive years of share gains. That's an awesome stair step to success. And frankly, I'll tell you, the reason we have you all today, all here today, we want to show you some great products, but we've really got all of you to thank for those share gains and what we've accomplished. I'm really proud of what we've done, but it's you guys who have pushed us and challenged us, pushed us to expand the boundaries of what's possible and deliver some really amazing products. So I also want to thank you for what you've done. Thank you. Now I'll tell you, stuff like brushed metal, diamond cut edges, woven carbon fiber, glowing FX lights. Those are really important things in a system, and they make for a gorgeous machine. But as we thought about today and the products that we're going to show you, what we realized is our most striking advantage comes from innovation that you can't see. With Dell, what you see in our systems is only the beginning of what you get. Beauty and brawn, I got to do that. Been working out a year, got to do that. Beauty and brawn, sorry. I'll get back on the script or they'll throw me off here. Beauty and brawn are more than skin deep. It's what's on the inside of our products, coupled with the beautiful fit and finish on the outside, that really define the Dell experience. And today, as you spend this morning with us, you're going to see we're bringing new products and software experiences together to redefine the PC again. So, since XPS 13 started it all for us, let me introduce you to our latest version. Thank you, Chris. This system, just named a CES honoree, is the world's smallest, most powerful 13-inch laptop. You guys like it? Yeah. It's beautiful. Now available in rose gold with alpine white interior, as well as you can come up afterwards, come next door, and check out our classic platinum silver and carbon fiber. Now let's take a closer look at what our world-class engineers have put together in this product. Hey, pretty stunning, right? Yeah. Now, for those of you familiar with XPS 13, this new system may look similar, but it's been improved in every conceivable way. Let me run through a few numbers with you. This system absolutely oozes power. It has 2.2 times more performance than an XPS 13 from 3 years ago. So you get speed when you need it. It's got a 4K Ultra HD display, 2.5 million more pixels than the prior generation. So what you see in real life is what you get on your screen. And what is the most exciting feature to me, the virtually borderless Infinity Edge display that XPS pioneered is now 23% thinner at 4 millimeters. So take out your latest cutting-edge smartphone, grab a razor blade, chop that sucker in half. That's 4 millimeters. Anyone want to do that? We got a little salami cutting machine next door. We'll also do that for you in the Yardbird, free of charge. It's pretty awesome though, 4 millimeters, really small. And we've made the whole system, you saw it when I held it up, we've made it more compact, more lust-worthy, so you're going to want to carry that everywhere you go. It's 30% thinner than our prior generation, starts at just 2.67 pounds. And you know, we did that without sacrificing battery life. So this system has the longest battery life of any 13-inch laptop out there. 19 and a half hours, long enough for any flight in the world, done with a full power CPU. So you get the performance you want. Now this thing has a bunch of industry firsts, but I know a few of you, like Bob and some others, really want to get into the details. You don't like just the surface level. So let's start with the outside and what we've done on materials innovation. XPS has always been about delivering the most authentic, premium materials, like the rose gold aluminum that encases the new Alpine white interior, this beauty. Technology has become the new fashion accessory, and rose gold is the new black. Believe me, I know. Fashion is my thing. Can't you guys tell? Come on. Hey, Pat, you out there, you with me on this? I can do the fashion walk and everything pretty good. You and me. Okay, well, hey, maybe I'm not so fashionable. I thought I was a millennial. I found out I'm not even a millennial. I'm not fashionable. So the good news for us, we've got a world-class design team. And thankfully, they, not me, are the ones who created this color. And they also designed the Alpine white interior of this system, which it is definitely glamorous, and it's a really hard look to pull off. It took us 13 people, 11,520 hours, and 50 trials to get it right. It is not paint like some of our competitors might put on their systems. What we developed is a woven glass fiber with the white woven into the system. We're the first to use this material in a PC, and it's like a fabric with soft, textured lattice fibers pulled together. And like a fabric and like carbon fiber that we have on our classic design, it's soft to the touch, it's really strong while being very light, and it's heat resistant so it stays cool to the touch. With white, one other thing that took us time was there's an added challenge of how you make it look as glamorous and beautiful on day 1000 as it does on day one. That's the problem I have with all my white clothes when I wear them out all the time. So we created a special coating that's UV and stain resistant, so the white will look sparkling as you go down the road, and it'll shed dirt. We want people using our systems. We're proud of the stuff we develop. We want people using our systems to look great on day 1000 and be proud of the system they're carrying around. So really important to us. So pretty awesome work on the outside. Now let's talk a little bit about performance. And I hope that wakes up Pat when we do this, because I know that's a thing that turns him on. Now, like I said earlier, with Dell, what you see is only the beginning of what you get. Our customers have told us they want maximum performance. So our engineers went a little bit crazy, and they over-designed the XPS 13 to deliver the most power of any 13-inch laptop. At least that's what they told me. It was intentional when we talked about this design. So to do that, we have done some pretty amazing, groundbreaking stuff in this system. We've built in an intelligent feature called Dynamic Power Mode. Engineered by Dell, the most exciting thing I see in this system. It extracts the maximum power from the CPU while it's intelligently monitoring and managing system temperatures. What that means is we're able to use this thermal design to drive the processor up to 27 watts of performance when you need peak power, unlike the 15 watts that you get using competitors' thin and light designs. And I'll tell you what, if you put them on a test bench, a lot of those designs struggle to deliver 15 watts, so they're kind of down here. So what that means for you as a user is you get the power you need when you're doing stuff like video rendering using Adobe Premiere Pro. And when you don't need the power, we lower system performance to conserve battery life. Now, that's a pretty cool feature, but even with all that intelligence built into the system, the new XPS design put out too much heat. So we looked outside our industry for innovation. Who here has ever bought Gore-Tex apparel for outdoor use? Okay, awesome. I see a bunch of hands in the audience. Exactly. I love the outdoors. I just actually got back from skiing with my family, and Gore was built into the fabric in my jacket and gloves. It kept me dry every single day. And I'll tell you, as 4 days ago, as I was going head first down a double black diamond slope, it was nice and steep, scary steep, trying to keep up with my teenage sons as a millennial dad, and Thessley, who's a crazy good skier. All that was going through my head was the confidence that I knew when I arrested my fall, I was going to be dry. And that is a great thing to know. I would urge all of you to do that. But hey, so more importantly than that, I did stop. I'm limping around a little bit, but that was my last day skiing. More importantly than that, what I'm here and pleased to announce today is Gore now makes our go-to thermal insulation for XPS. And what's special about this material is not what it repels, but how it conducts heat, or really how it doesn't conduct heat. Now, we're the first people to use Gore thermal insulation in a PC. The material has thermal conductivity that's below air, which if you look at that and do a little research, that's rarefied territory to be in. This helps us direct heat outside the device in the right places, not on the bottom, not on the palm rest. So your XPS will feel comfortable when you're using it on your lap, which it's a laptop. Makes sense, you're going to want to use it on your lap. What's also really cool about this is we're using the same silica aerogels that are used in some other extreme engineering environments, like insulation on the Mars rover and for hypervelocity particle capture on the Stardust probe. So all that technology built into your XPS 13. Let me show you a little bit how this works. You see a stovetop here with two wax crayons. One's resting on Gore thermal insulation, one isn't. You can see how the one on the left, it lowers the surface temperature to keep the wax from melting. Oh no, I'm shrinking. I think that one's about to go. It is pretty impressive technology. Basically, thin insulation that we use in our system, literally cool, to keep our systems performing in the way we want. So you can see on XPS 13, the outside looks beautiful, but there's also a lot of work we've done inside the system. Our thermal solutions, which think back to it, we can drive 80% more power with dynamic power mode. We've got Gore thermal insulation in the systems. We've got the cooling effect of woven glass carbon fiber, or woven glass fiber, and that's allowed us to put a bunch of power, intelligence, cool factor into these very beautiful, sleek machines. So XPS 13, please give it up for the awesome new version that we're announcing today. Great. Hey, now speaking of power, that's what this next product is all about. XPS 15 2-in-1 is a new form factor for us that embodies innovation on every level. It's the world's smallest 15.6-inch 2-in-1 with the performance you've come to expect from your XPS 15. It's got a gorgeous Infinity Edge 4K display, and it's in an impossibly thin 16mm form factor. That is awesome. Think about the performance of this system and the size of this system. And it's beautiful. It's got the same expert craftsmanship and premium finishes that you've come to expect from XPS. What's pretty cool, too, is if you open this system up, nice and mobile, so you can carry it around as a 2-in-1, which is really important. It introduces to our industry, for the first time ever, a Maglev keyboard. Anyone know what Maglev is? Yep. It's magnetic stands for magnetic levitation. It allowed us to make this keyboard 24% thinner. So as we were looking for every millimeter to allow a 2-in-1 to be mobile, things like innovation like that was really important to us. And what we've done is basically use magnets to allow these keys to float above the keyboard, and they're precision-tuned magnets, so you get the same feel of a standard keyboard. It's the same technology used in the fastest trains in the world. They basically hover above their track, so that they're also really reliable and durable technology, something you probably want in a train that's going like 400 kilometers an hour. For us, that manifests itself in the tests we do with this keyboard. We press the keys in our torture tests 12.5 million times, and we had zero degradation in the dynamics and key press from press 1 to press 12.5 million. So makes it thinner, awesome technology, brought from outside our industry into the PC. And finally, something that's really cool on this system is what I think you'll be most impressed about is this system has some pretty incredible pen capabilities. In fact, it's got a magic pen that is guaranteed to make you 2.3 times smarter. You guys like that? Yeah, come on. Hi, I love you guys. Hey, I love the press. You can see that on our system. This pen, I would urge all of you, after we get done with this amazing show this morning, please come over to the Yardbird, check out this pen. It's got extremely precise writing. It has tilt support. Any of you like to draw? A few people? Any aspiring designers? I'm an aspiring designer, but I'll tell you, every time I try to draw a new system, I get kicked out of our ID lab. So if anyone can draw, help me. I need a design. It'll give me some more street credibility. So it's got some great tilt support for detailed shading. It's got high pressure sensitivity, and it attaches magnetically to the system. Now, while that's impressive, and you're going to be wicked smart when you use that system, all of you, I know this is a smart audience. It's a good edge in the business, get even smarter. With this product, the innovation that I'm even more excited about is one you can't see. It's the unprecedented combination of CPU and graphics architecture that allowed us to create this really compact 2-in-1. So now I'd like to invite a special guest on stage from Intel to talk about the engineering of this new 8th gen core processor and the work that Intel and Dell did together to bring it to life. Come on up, Chris Walker. Hey Chris, how you doing?
Great, really great to be here. Really excited about the products.
Yeah, hey, so tell us, as we worked on this thing together, tell us about the product that you put together. It's a pretty interesting combination of CPU and graphics. It was frankly surprising. I remember when we first talked about it. I'd love to hear what work you did that enabled us to build this product, and how did we work together to get it done?
Yeah, well, I can say the genesis of our thinking about this product was really talking with the Dell team about what could create breakthrough for the next XPS 15 design. And so what we did and the way we thought about it is having an uncompromised performance of bringing CPU and graphics together. So in this new 8th generation core processor, we took our high performance quad-core H series mobile CPU, commissioned a custom to Intel Mobile Vega graphics die from the Radeon team, and brought that together with high bandwidth memory all into a single package. It's really a unique solution with two pieces of technology that underpin it. One is our EMIB package technology. Think of it as like an intelligent bridge that helps bring the die together in a very dense form factor. And also an Intel power sharing framework that allows you to coordinate the power and thermals across the CPU, GPU, and graphics memory in a way that you can't do it when the systems or the pieces are designed separately in the system. Allows for power efficiency and application-specific performance. So in the case of XPS 15, what the teams were able to do is use that together, and you achieved a 33% reduction in the board area in the system. Yep. That enabled for better thermal solutions like your heat pipes or fans. And what that yields is high performance, quiet system, all down to 16 millimeters thin, plus the versatility of a 2-in-1. It's really exciting.
Yeah, hey, no, we love that, and I think the work that we did as you went through that, I would love to geek out with you a little bit afterwards on that. I'm talking about black and colors, and you got more technology packed into this than has my brain spinning. So I think it's really exciting what you did, and the reduction in size was really important to us because we thought you needed that to do a great 2-in-1. So hey, I do want to go back a little bit though to the CPU and graphics architecture and what you did there when you thought about combining that power. What kind of customers were you thinking about? Who did you have in mind that was going to purchase this system?
Yeah, so we were thinking about that over 50 million content creators. These are the people who are doing high-end video editing, animation, special effects, architecture rendering, really an enthusiast level of person and performance. Increasingly, those people want to be mobile. And they've been going to notebooks, but in the past it was something like we call a muscle book, right? Something that was portable, but maybe not yet something you could carry with you all day. And so we saw that gap in the market, an appetite for thin and light systems for those who want top-end performance. And because of what we've done together with this new 8th generation core processor, if you think about, you talked about 3-year-old systems just a bit ago.
Yep.
This new system, if we look at some of our testing at the end of the year, is, it's only half the thickness, which is impressive in itself. But you're talking about 60% greater productivity performance, over 40% better media application performance, and 3 times the graphics performance of that MuscleBook of just 3 years ago that many people are still creating on. Plus, with Intel's HD graphics on board, you get a very low power, power efficient for media playback. You've got that beautiful 4K screen, you get all-day video playback on premium 4K content from providers like Netflix, Amazon, or if you're in China, iQIYI. So really, this balance of performance, binge watching, it really brings it all together, and really that balancing act of form factor and uncompromised performance.
Yeah, and we're absolutely seeing what you just talked about, Chris. So people want power, and they want that in mobile form factors. People are demanding everything, and they want good battery life. So appreciate what you did. The partnership on this has been outstanding. We are super excited about the product we put together and getting that in people's hands shortly. So
it's really been a special engineering partnership, and from Intel and our engineering teams really wanted to thank Dell for working with us on this project, and really excited to see this in market.
Hey, let's keep it up, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, so XPS 13 you saw today, XPS 15 2-in-1, 2 brand new products that we are super excited about. So please give it up for that. And with that, love to welcome Jessica back on stage. Hey, Jessica.
Hi, thanks. All
Thank
right,
you.
My pleasure. Also, please give us a round of applause to the engineers and teams at Dell and Intel who actually made today possible. So thank you, guys. All right, so Sam started out talking about the past, something that happened 5 years ago. Well, about 3 hours ago, I found out something that I didn't know, which is that Dell Technologies is one of the largest software companies in the world. Are you guys shocked by that? Because I was. And to give us one example of what Dell, the software and hardware company, can do in the consumer space, I'd like to bring up one of Dell's principal engineers, Sinem Gubay. Hi. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
My
you.
pleasure.
Wow.
So, Sinem, thanks for joining us. But let's start off first by telling us what it is you actually do. What does a practical engineering technologist do?
Sure. I want to answer Jessica's question a little bit differently. May I? Okay. So 3 years from today, you are in year 2021, January 9. Do you know exactly what you're going to be doing and where you're going to be at? Take out your crystal ball. Again, 3 years from today, that's the year 2021. Do you know exactly where you will be at? Where? Right. There are a lot of CES regulars here, I know. So you might know that you're going to be here in Vegas. But for most of us, that is actually a big unknown, right? Well, figuring out that unknown is what my team does. With my team, we are figuring out the future technology trends, where Dell products are going to be 3 years from today. The way we do that is we read the trends, and then we develop solutions around those trends to meet the future needs of people, and also to be ahead of everybody else, of course. One trend that we saw, and I'm sure that you've seen it too, I'll put that to you, is a big shift in how and where people consume their media content. Let me prove it. I want you to raise your hand if you have a newspaper with you today. Any newspapers? Well, okay, we got a few. How about a magazine? How many of you have a magazine in their bag? We have a few too. Okay, how about an actual TV screen? How many of you grabbed your TV screen from your home, took it with you to your flight, and brought it with you? And hopefully never, no one brought the one in their hotel room here. Okay, wow, actually nobody. Oh, that's a good thing. What about a laptop? How many of you have a laptop with you today? Wow, almost everyone here. Well, that is where entertainment is going. It's going from TVs to PCs. Today, the trend is watching our favorite TV shows on a PC. Well, applying these insights into development process, we set out on a journey 3 years ago to optimize our PCs for the best media experiences. And let me explain the why with a little bit actual numbers. Last year, we asked people how many of them do prefer watching their favorite TV shows on a TV set. Well, the answer was 52%. Do you have any guess what the number is today? Do you think it's up or down? Down? Well, it's way down. It is 23% today. It went from 52% to 23% in only 1 year. So the change is very, very fast. So for us to be ahead of that change, we wanted to adapt quickly. With these insights, we've created Dell Cinema. Dell Cinema is a combination of 3 key elements, working all together in concert for one single purpose: to give the most immersive, captivating experience of our content. Let me show you a quick video on how the technology works.
All right. Well, that looked very cool. I'm actually going to go watch my favorite Netflix shows on the new XPS that Sam just announced. Also, highly recommend you guys check out Wormwood on Netflix. It's super great. It's all about MK Ultra, so if you like weird stuff, watch it. Okay, bye.
Well, while Jessica does that, let me talk about the 3 key elements of Dell Cinema. Well, we all know that great visuals and great audio are key elements, right, for a great viewing experience. And there's also one more thing that is very, very essential. That is content. Today we get our content through streaming it from internet, right? And we all know how annoying it gets when we see that buffering sign right in the middle, right? Well, Dell Cinema, which is a combination of 3 elements, like I mentioned, it's Cinema Color, Cinema Sound, and Cinema Stream, is our solution to make your viewing experience much better. Let me explain each of these. First, Cinema Color. Well, color is a very big deal, right? It is a very big deal. It is the key component to create lifelike visuals. Cinema Color, powered by Windows HD Color, brings HDR content to PCs for the first time. First time. You'll get visuals with vivid colors, dazzling brights, deepest blacks. We all know that HDR content is great, right? But until recently, we could only enjoy it on high-end TVs, displays. Well, that ends today with Cinema Color across our PCs. So you can enjoy your HDR streams no matter where you are and not get limited to your living room only. Well, in addition, we are introducing today 2 new Ultra-thin monitors in 27 and 24 inches that supports HDR content playback for a Cinema Color experience. You'll get the most vivid visuals in a virtually borderless Infinity Edge displays. These are both world's brightest Ultra-thin monitors in their class, with a sleek profile at only 5.5 millimeter at its thinnest. Well, great visuals without a correlating audio is like missing half of the story, right? Because with a great sound quality, you can actually feel it. Have you ever had that experience where you've been to a movie theater or a concert that you just didn't hear the sound, but you actually felt it? There was something about the bass, the effects, the volume that actually made you feel it. Well, that is cinema sound. With Waves Max Audio Pro built-in, we are bringing sound to life with clear highs, enhanced bass and increased volume so that you can enjoy a very immersive cinematic audio experience. Well, colors popping, sounds beating, great, right? But if you are interrupted with the buffering sign, then it doesn't really matter. I'm sure you all are as annoyed as I do with the sign, right? We hate it. We hate it when we see the sign in the middle of our favorite TV shows because of the things happening in the background, like your updates, notifications, emails, or maybe your downloads, right? Well, we all hate that when that happens. Which is why, in partnership with Red Networks, I personally led the co-development of a software technology that makes streaming much better, much better. It is called SmartByte. SmartByte is the underlying technology of Cinema Stream. We took Killer, which is a wireless radio solution we offer on our Alienware and XPS systems, and we developed a software version of it that optimizes our PCs for the best streaming experience and to make that better streaming available across our PCs. The way this technology works is that it prioritizes the internet connectivity for applications like YouTube, Netflix, or for internet traffic coming from those applications, over all other applications that are a drag on your bandwidth. Things like the updates, the downloads, the notifications, emails, right? Well, in a little less geeky terms, what it does is that when you're watching your Netflix show, right, what's happening in your PC is everything is just fighting with each other. Everything is trying to get more and more bandwidth. And this technology makes sure that your streaming gets whatever it needs first. And everything else is just going to wait for it because your streaming has the highest priority in your PC now. Well, with the SmartByte technology, you can get up to 10 times less buffering and much better video quality. That's just incredible. Well, I have one more software technology that I want to introduce today. I'm very, very excited about this one because the PC industry has never, ever done something like this before. Never. It is Dell Mobile Connect. Dell Mobile Connect is the first ever complete wireless integration between your PC and your phone that makes them work better together in a harmony. How many times have we stopped what we were doing on our PCs because we got a text message, right? Or we got a call? Well, that disruption is a thing of the past now. Because with Dell Mobile Connect, no more splitting your attention between your phone and your PC. On iPhones, you'll be able to receive your calls and texts right from your Dell screen. And with Androids, you'll be able to receive your calls, texts, and also access to all of your applications, like all of it. All. Uber, Instagram, all of it, whatever you have on your phone. That's just amazing. Let me show you how the technology works. Well, you might be saying that, so Sinem, what does that really mean to me, right? Well, let me explain. I was talking with Lauren right before I came to stage. So on Monday, when Lauren goes back to her office, instead of taking her Dell up, putting her phone on her desk, putting her coffee, arranging it all, now she can just relax. Leave her phone in her beautiful bag all day long, because with Dell Mobile Connect, once she opens her Dell up, she got everything right there. Her phones are coming, her texts are coming, and allowing her to stay focused on whatever she wants to be productive on. And right before she leaves her office, she can actually call her Uber right from her Dell. Well, it's that simple.
Awesome. Well, Sinem, thank you so much. Very, very cool. I can't wait to start using it for all the time it'll save me as a working mom. Every minute counts. Excellent presentation.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. All right, so you guys can start using Dell Mobile Connect at the end of the month, available globally as a free preloaded Windows 10 app on all Dell XPS, Inspiron, Vostro, and Alienware desktops, laptops, 2-in-1s, and all-in-ones purchased after January 2018. And to pair it with your smartphone, you simply need to download the Dell Mobile Connect app from the Android or iOS store. So Dell Cinema is going to be available on all XPS and select Inspiron systems starting today at no additional cost. And if you want to experience that, the Dell Cinema specifically, make sure and go check out the demos over at the Yardbird, again, which is down the hall. Now, this is why it makes sense for me to be on stage. I am a huge gamer, so for all of the gamers out there, it's time to talk video games, and who better to do that than our next speaker. As a gamer myself, I am super stoked to introduce to you Frank Azor, known for breaking every barrier in PC gaming. Frank, a co-founder of Alienware and now head of Dell Gaming and XPS, is here. So Frank, come on out.
Hey, Jessica, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Well, everyone, thank you very much for having me. I hope you're having a great day today. I think, did you just say all that nice stuff because of the campaign we featured you in?
Of course not.
I don't know. Worked with you a long time. You've never said such nice things about me, so something must have changed. Hey, guys, so I'm the gaming guy, so we're going to have some fun. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you some instructions. First test is to see how well you can follow them. So when I say so, please stand up. Not yet. Stand up. Find a partner. Makes you all, with your laptops and your smartphones, put them all away because you're going to have to do this, or I'm going to call you out. Find a partner, okay, and then face me. You can have two partners if you need to, all right? So you're going to stand up, you're going to find a partner, face me. Ready? Go.
Just going to hang out.
Of course.
I'm just going to roll solo.
I should have said somebody you don't know. All right, ready? I'm going to ask you a question, and I need you to please answer the question loudly enough that I will hopefully hear it, okay? Just answer it quickly. Don't hesitate. Answer it to your partner, all right? Yes, therapy. Exactly, Pat. So what was the first video game you ever played?
River Raid. Pitfall.
Donnie, what was the first video game you ever played? All right. All right, I heard Tetris, I heard Super Mario, River Raid, Pong. Why do all the people that have white hair say Pong? All right, so I'll let you guys in on a little secret. I am a world champion when it comes to Tetris. Some of you are probably going to go Wikipedia if that shit's true or not. It is absolutely true. I am a world champion in Tetris in my household. But actually, my first console game was Pitfall on the Atari 2600, and my first PC game was Prince of Persia. Anyone ever play that?
Yeah, I forgot about. Mine was Doom, but only on God mode. I wasn't allowed to play, so I snuck it in.
Did you have a boss key?
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to ask you, don't sit down yet. You're not following directions. If you didn't have an answer, and if you've never played a video game in your life, please stay standing up. Everybody else sit down.
Also, obviously, I have played many a game, so I'm going to go ahead and sit down. Frank, stage
That
is
wasn't
yours.
intended for you. You don't. I feel
Taking a
so
break.
Exposed. All right, who's standing up? Hardly anybody, actually. I don't think anybody is standing up. Anybody standing up? You're either lying because you're not brave enough to stay standing, or everybody in this room has played a video game, which is pretty remarkable. Okay? Look, I remember being in middle school, and of a school of 500 people, I only had 4 friends because we were the only 4 PC gamers in the entire school. Today, there's 2.5 billion gamers around the world. 2.5 billion gamers around the world. It's just absolutely insane. There's up to 18 million people just on Steam playing PC games concurrently at any given time. And VR and esports have been huge contributors to the rise and success of gaming. Most of you know we've been in this business now since 1996. I've been personally in it since 1998. And I can promise you that this has been the most exciting time in PC gaming and in gaming in general. And we have people playing games, of course, on consoles. We have the best consoles we've ever seen in our lives. We have amazing PCs, amazing technology in those PCs playing these games. But we're seeing things like, of course, smartphones playing games and tablets playing games, but even smartwatches playing games. There's people building games for pretty much anywhere where there's a screen and there's a microprocessor. And we've been having a great time. I mean, our business is just absolutely blowing up in the gaming space. Our business, the Dell gaming business, is actually up 50%. 50% faster than the worldwide gaming business has grown. It's just unbelievable. So a big contributor to our success and to the success of gaming has been esports and VR. And 2 years ago, we were on stage at CES, and we made a pretty big announcement with our partners at Oculus around the investment we were making in bringing VR to as many people as possible. And we made a couple different announcements. The first one we made was that we were going to be investing in a discount program to help make our VR-ready desktops more affordable at the time so that people can have accessibility to VR. At that time, it was over $2,000 to get a VR rig, including the headset and the PC. We also made the commitment that every Alienware product by the end of the year, this is 2016, would be VR capable. Not only did we deliver that, but we've today offered the largest VR-ready portfolio between Alienware and Dell products, and even some XPS products, in the entire industry. And we're partnered with all the premier VR headset manufacturers. Everything from our own Dell Visor to the Oculus Rift to the Htc Vive. We work with all the best technology that's out there. So the first announcement I want to share with you today is that starting today, we are the first PC company to offer the consumer version of the Htc Vive. And why that's relevant is because a large number of our customers want to buy an entire bundled system. They want to finance it. They want to get all their warranty, service, support, everything from one company. And this makes it more accessible for them to be able to do that. The next major announcement is around a significant milestone we're making in making the affordability of VR go from here to here. So 2 years ago, I talked about how it was about $2,000 to get into a PC that was VR capable and a VR headset. Well, at the show today, we're announcing the brand new Inspiron gaming desktop that'll get you into VR at a price point of just $799. So some of you have heard me say this before, but I firmly believe that VR and AR will be as disruptive to the way in which we learn, the way in which we entertain, and the way in which we communicate as the internet has been in recent years. Our mission is to help accelerate that to the best of our ability, and delivering great hardware at a more affordable prices so more people can get into this disruptive technology is the best tool we have at our disposal to do that. The next major announcement I want to share with you is around an entirely new platform that we're launching. Now, some of you are thinking, oh, cool, a new hardware platform. That's usually what we come out here and we launch, right? But you heard Sinem talk a lot about the software investments that we're making. You heard Jessica share with you that we are one of the largest software companies in the world. Well, we didn't just stop on the Dell side. We've also invested a considerable amount of resources on software for the Alienware side. Now, we could have just made our software better, but that wouldn't have been good enough. What we're doing is we're completely changing our approach to software when it comes to gaming. And we're developing what we coin as the Alienware gaming experience. You see, look, up to now, you've known Alienware for the past 21 years as being a really cool hardware provider, right? We took this really difficult thing back in the late 90s, which was playing PC games, You had these multiple operating systems. There was no Steam back then. There was no Origin. There were no unified gaming digital distribution platforms. You had 2D video cards, 3D video cards, 16-bit OS, 32. It was a disaster. And we came in and we offered a turnkey solution to people that wanted to play games on their PCs, and we made it simple for them from a hardware perspective. We were significantly more successful than we ever imagined, and at the same time, the industry has spurred up a bunch of great product offerings out there that arguably compete with us. But pretty much what everybody's been doing has been focused on a hardware race. And some of us have software that we offer to help you modify the lights and so that you can modify the power profile of your system. But that's basically what it is. It's a hardware component, it's a hardware platform, and the software just complements it. The Alienware gaming experience and the new Alienware Command Center, which we're announcing, puts the experience first. It puts the software first, and it puts the platform first. And the hardware is going to complement that. You're probably wondering, what the heck am I talking about? So we're going to make it real simple for you. All right. Let me invite Uriah Shadle, who is our chief mad scientist on this project, the new Alienware Command Center, come out here and help me explain this to you a little bit better.
What's up, brother?
Hey, man. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Uriah, so the new Alienware Command Center, I set it up, right, but they probably have no idea what the heck I'm talking about yet, so I'm going to need your help, all right?
No worries.
So what was your primary focus when it came to developing and designing the new Command Center?
So it's pretty easy. I mean, we really focused on simplicity and the user experience, which it's not as easy as it sounds, actually. But we really were just trying to consider the users. Alienware has a pretty broad base. As we saw, everybody in here is a gamer. And we wanted to make sure that we accounted for the novice to the really advanced user. And I think we've done that in a really good way.
Yeah, so similar to what we did in hardware, right, where we took these really complex things, all these hardware components that you kind of had to have like an IT degree almost to figure out in order to get it to work for games. And we made that simple and we made it turnkey. That's what we're doing now on the software side. Simplicity is the first and foremost thing that you're focusing on. Taking all these little apps and these complex switches and knobs and all these things that have just over years have stacked on top of each other, and you're making it clean, simple, and elegant, correct?
And trying to make it a single pane of glass so that you can get to everything on your system in just one spot. So that was really our focus. And there's really four main elements that we focused on, which is the dashboard, the game library, the effects lighting, and what we're calling a bucket called Fusion, which holds a whole lot of other elements to it. I think the easiest way to do this is probably just to walk you over and show you.
Okay,
so
cool. Let's do it.
Let's walk over. And
so
I'll
this
run
is
a demo.
Uriah's first demo at a CES, and he is quickly learning that demos usually go wrong when it comes time to showing them off. So bear with us if anything does go wrong.
This
but
is
I
going
have
to go
confidence
perfect.
in you, buddy.
It's going to go perfect.
Don't worry about it.
So first, I'm just going to shut these so that you can see us. And I've also set a mouse up here, so when we do some of the lighting effects, you'll be able to see it on the system and the mouse. We're going to start off here with the dashboard. And the dashboard is really your landing spot. This is a first for Alienware, because if you've seen a lot of the previous generations of Command Center, really it was a lot of separate modules. And what we wanted is one place you could go to really access all the stuff you need. So a quick little breakdown of the dashboard here. You have all your game info here towards the top of the screen, and then all your system info here at the bottom of the screen. And we have a few games in here that you can kind of click through and see what all is available underneath those. That's pretty much the dashboard. I will say we've added a lot of customization options in here. I'm pretty big on customization myself, and personally, I'm more of a dark guy. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the interface over to the dark. I won't go through all the customization options in here. I think it's neat to come in here and kind of explore a little bit and see what you can do. But really, dashboard is your main landing place. We get you in, let you see what you can do with the system, quickly access your recently played stuff, and modify your system if you need to. I'm going to talk a little bit about the library then. And the library is really your hub for all your games. So this is where you would go to set up all the themes that you want, how you want your system to react whenever you're playing a game, if you want it to kick into high performance or be quiet mode when you jump back out of that game.
This works with Steam, it works with Origin. What platforms does it work on?
So this works with all major platforms out there. The nice thing is when you load this up, it has an automatic scan. It will scan your system for games, populate your library for you.
And why would I want to open a game through the Command Center library versus going into Steam and opening the game up through there?
So that's actually the best thing. Once you set up anything in here, you can actually launch it from anywhere on your system. If you want to launch through Steam, launch from your desktop, there's nothing that forces you to come into the Command Center to launch your games. We're pretty happy about that. I will show just a little bit of customization in here. Depending on the size of your library, you may want to blow this up or shrink it down. We give options for you to view it in a list view or a grid view, depending on your preference. And we also give you a way to come in here, although I don't know if I can do it, and favorite certain games if you'd like to kind of trim down your game library. This one's not very representative of my library. I have quite a few more than 2 titles. But it's a game library. We all know game libraries. So let me go ahead and kick into effects, which is really kind of the heart of the application. Effects is where you come in to do all the lighting on your system, but it's also inclusive of things like macros, settings for your individual devices. The thing we love is that we've built this at an ecosystem level. So if you have Alienware devices, and you'll see a couple up here, but regardless of how many you have, you're able, through this quick menu in the top right there, to swap through all those devices and preview them. And that preview exists across anything that you've created. So you can see as I switch themes here, hopefully these are responding. Hey, all right, the demo's going great.
It's not over yet.
That's a good point. But you'll see as I click through each theme, I can actually see what each individual device looks like for that particular theme. And I can change my entire system with just a touch. Now, the nice thing is, as Frank mentioned, when you launch a game, all the stuff happens for you automatically, regardless of where you launched it from. And that lighting is all based off of focus. So if you Alt-Tab between several applications, your entire system can swap with just changing the focus of the current application you have in front.
So it's really the hardware. Instead of going into each hardware component like you do up to now, and you kind of have to modify and change every single one actively, depending on how you're going to use your system, and not just from a lighting perspective, but your macros and all these other things. What we're doing is we're removing the focus off the hardware itself and the manipulation of the hardware, and we're putting it on the game itself. And the hardware, the macros, all the settings, all the knobs, all the switches complement the game you're going to play.
Yep.
As we say, people don't play hardware, they play games.
They play games. The biggest direction from this guy was to make sure, how do we get people playing games? So I won't dive too far deep into effects for now, but I'll talk a little bit about our last bucket here, which is known as Fusion. We have a few overclocking warnings just in case we don't want you to melt your system. But we do a lot of things to prevent that and protect that. And I will say, this thing comes pre-shipped with some presets in here, the overclock 01, overclock 02. Obviously, the names will be adjusted before we actually ship. But those presets are great. You can just choose one of those, set it on your system. Your system is going to run fast, and you know that we've already tested it to make sure that it's not going to melt anything down. But if you actually want to come in here and say, I want to create my own profile, and I want to adjust whatever I'd like to, this kind of goes back to what I had mentioned about from the novice user to the advanced user. We tried to consider them all. So even if you're a novice user and you'd like to come in here and you want to adjust your overclocking, you can grab a single slider here, and you'll notice as I move the slider that it's changing colors. The idea is that we have these kind of colored pings that give you a sense of what your system is capable of before you ever hit test and validate. So you kind of have a sense of, probably pushing the border right here, but let me see if my system will do that and respond smoothly and not have a problem. We always have test and save to validate before you do anything. So if you're a more advanced user and you choose to, you can come in here and select the manual mode, and then you can adjust each one of these individually. We give you some guiding lights here with the green triangles, but we also allow you to move it around, and still we give you those colored pings to kind of give you a sense of if you're in a good spot or not.
So there's a lot of very advanced overclocking solutions that are out there today. Yeah. This is not intended to compete with that.
No.
This is intended to take that very complex tool set that's available out there and simplify it for folks who want to get into overclocking and maximizing the value of the machine that they've invested in, but are maybe a little bit intimidated. They don't want to have to go read a bunch of wiki articles to learn exactly what settings to be able to go off and modify. They can come in here, they can do some basic overclocking, they can get comfortable with that, and then they can get a little bit more advanced, and then maybe graduate into one of those third-party applications that are even more advanced than this.
Completely.
It's all about, like you said earlier, simplicity.
Yep.
Now, fail-safes. We've built in a bunch of fail-safes into this as well. So it's going to be hard to break your machine when you go around and you mess with this. I mean, there's certain levels in here that test the machine to ensure that it's going to be able to operate reliably at these settings that you've gone in there and you've configured. And it's going to be warranted, of course, and it's going to be fully supported by what you come to expect from Alienware.
Awesome. Yeah, we want to make sure you don't have any problems with your system. So we've gone to great lengths to make sure that that's all taken care of for you.
Awesome.
I'll touch on just a little bit in here. We also have our thermals, so you can also dynamically adjust each fan in your system all the way down to smooth line. Or you can also view a history in here, and I don't think this works on touch.
There you go, your demo's failing.
Yeah. You can kind of see it. But you could go to any point in time and get a sense of your fan speed versus your temperature and really get a snapshot of how your system's been performing.
Awesome. So thank you, Uriah. Really appreciate it, man. Awesome.
Thank you.
Great job. And to all the engineers that helped make this possible, thank you very much. So I want to add to this and just let you know, look, this is version 1.0. This is a whole new platform that we're going to be building on considerably moving forward. It's not possible for us to develop everything we have planned when we had all these different little modules of software that weren't integrated, that weren't talking to each other. We had to build a whole new foundation and a whole new platform so that we can get even more advanced and more focused on delivering that gaming experience that I was talking about earlier, the Alienware gaming experience. So today you see it around lighting, you see macros, you see overclocking. In the future, you're going to see all types of improvements around Command Center. They're going to make the gaming experience even better than gamers have ever seen delivered from a hardware company up to now. So a couple things you may not have noticed, nuances, but it's fully touch capable. Right, so he was actually using a touchscreen to show you the demo over here. So if you want to use touch, you have that ability. It's fully scalable as well to pretty much any resolution that's out there. It's the first application of its type that's a full Windows application as well, which gives us a modern app that's completely scalable and customizable, and it's going to be really, really interesting and very compelling what we have planned for you. So look forward to future CESs, E3s, PAXs. We're going to come out and launch new versions of it, and it's going to get really awesome really quickly here.
Yeah, I thought it looked really cool. I obviously am a sucker for customization, but I like the whole concept of kind of introductory overclocking. As somebody that wouldn't really necessarily know what they're doing, it's nice to know that there's kind of a safety net there for if I want to kind of dabble in those waters. So that's really smart. Can't wait to use it. So you all know the new Command Center will be available in February on the new Area 51 and on all new Alienware products launching in 2018. Frank, you teased us earlier a little bit more about some esports news. So what's going on with that?
So some of you may know that we've been in esports now for a long time. We're actually one of the first hardware providers that invested in esports about 10 years ago. We've had partnerships with Team Dignitas and Team Liquid, very, very strong partnerships over the years, some of the best teams that are out there. Well, we're about to take that to a whole new level. I mean, esports, for those of you that don't know, is absolutely massive. There's over 350 million people playing and watching esports today. 350 million. And that's forecasted to grow to 500 million just by the end of next year. That's a massive growth rate. And it's a long way from when we used to go to LAN parties, which was a little bit of a terrifying experience in those days.
Yeah. Probably illegal spaces that weren't supposed to be set up for LAN.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember the power breakers tripping all the time, people tripping over cables, people sleeping under the tables. It was just
smelled
very
a lot
scary.
like toilets.
Yeah, it was a very scary.
Often.
Fortunately, we've come a long way from then, but we still have a very long way to go. And look, personally, I think that esports is going to become the most played and the most watched sport in the world over the next decade.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. I mean, the numbers that you just mentioned are insane, especially because I kind of consider that when I started, that's kind of when esports in the U.S. has just started to dip its toe in the water. It was obviously huge overseas, but it wasn't even talked about here. And it's been amazing to watch just that growth just explode out the gate. It's nuts.
It's absolutely. It's one of the, well, it is the fastest growing sport in the world right now, but from where it went to where it is right now in just like a decade of time, a little bit over a decade, it's just unbelievable. The numbers, the organizations, the athleticism that's being demonstrated, it's just absolutely insane. So I've told you we're going to take it to the next level. If you believe esports, like I do, is going to become the most popular sport in the world, then you need to take it to the next level in order for it to be able to do that. You need to help take the athletes themselves to a higher level so that they can compete to the level at which we see traditional sports today. I mean, the preparation and the skills and the training and the facilities that football and soccer and other professional sports athletes have out there at their disposal is something we've really never seen before in esports. But we're about to change that.
That's great.
So I want to invite Steve Aronset, who's going to be who's a co-founder of Team Liquid. He's going to join us on stage to talk a little bit more about what we're doing with them in delivering on that.
All right, Steve, come on out. All right, are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it?
I'm good. Yeah.
It's cheesy high fives.
Good. Thanks for having me.
So, Steve, I mean, we're obviously very excited about what we're working on.
We're
and
beyond
I can't
excited.
wait to tell everybody because this is just like completely different than anything that's ever been done before. But before we get to that, all right, let's keep them in suspense. But just in case everybody here doesn't know who Team Liquid is, can you just give us a little bit of background on Team Liquid, who you guys are, why you guys are relevant, and why we're sharing this stage today?
Yeah, absolutely. So Team Liquid is a sports team, just like other sports teams that you may know, and we just train gamers to compete at the highest level of competition, to play against other gamers that are also competing for the biggest prize money and at the biggest tournaments. So we are we are the largest esports team in the Western world. We have 70 athletes. We represent 13 different games. We're across 25 different countries. And we are the most professional esports team in the Western world. So it's been incredible.
And you guys tend to win a little bit too, huh?
Yeah, so a few months ago, we actually won a tournament called the International. Has anybody heard of that? Yeah.
and what was the prize pool for the International? For those folks that don't know, like what's involved in esports here?
Just 25 million.
Just 25 million. That's just the prize pool. So I mean, this stuff is legit, guys. I mean, this is not what Jessica and I were talking about. A few friends hanging out in a warehouse that we weren't supposed to be at and sucking power for free and sleeping under tables. This is a professional sports organization with athletes that train 100%. Full-time, they compete at a level of gaming that, I mean, it's just superior to the average gamer that's out there. And the prize pools, the organizations, the business behind it is massive. It's absolutely massive.
And we've come a long way, you know. So we started our partnership about 6 years ago. And when I think back to that time period, we were actually here in Vegas. We were in a residential house. We had a bunch of gamers squeezed into bedrooms. We had one living in the closet. And we've come so far to kind of keep up with the 350 million people that are kind of watching this today. So we've evolved, and we are now, and this is actually the most exciting thing in esports, at least from my personal opinion. We're going to be opening the Alienware training facilities. We'll have 2 new locations. We'll have the one that's opening later this month in LA, and we'll have another facility in the Netherlands. So this is the first time that an esports organization in the Western world has separated residential living with a professional facility.
So, okay, Alienware training facility, like walk us through it. So how big is this place going to be in LA, and what's it look like? What can we expect if we walk in there?
Yeah, so I'll take you guys on a quick tour of the facility. So when you come in the door, you're going to walk in and you're going to see a beautiful Alienware bar, right? And you're going to have a laser 4K projector that's going to be up to 120-inch screen that's going to broadcast all of our tournaments and games. So Team Liquid, we actually competed in 1,100 different events last year in 2017. 1,100. So we'll have those broadcasted on the Alienware bar. We'll have coffee and maybe some
tequila, we agree.
Yeah, some tequila.
Okay. I'm not visiting if there isn't any.
Yep, and then over here, we're going to actually have a area for all of our production team. So our production team is called One Up Studios, and there are video editors, our graphic artists, our VFX artists that create content on all of our athletes. The narratives, the stories, the track to world championships for like our Dota team. So that's where we create all of this amazing content and document the story.
Why is that content relevant? Why is that content important? And how are we helping you build better content than anything you've done up to now?
So content is compelling, just like if you were to watch the Olympics, right? I'm not sure if folks tuned into the Rio Olympics, but if you went to their Facebook page, you saw the story of the athletes. Where are they from? You know, where did they start? How did they train?
It kind of humanizes these superhuman people out there that have these capabilities that are beyond anything we've ever seen before.
Right, exactly. So for example, League of Legends, there's 100 million monthly active players that just play this game. We're talking about the top 200 that compete at the highest level. So what is Doublelift like? You know, he's a player that's on our team that plays on League of Legends. You know, what's his personality? How does he train? What's his favorite champion? So our content team is creating that content and telling that story for our fans.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. And
so
then,
what else can I expect?
Yeah, so then that's our production team, and this is where the magic happens, which is our full area of where the players are going to be training and competing. So we're going to have scrim rooms, and for those of you that don't know what scrims are, they're scrimmages, and that's where we play against other teams. So our guys are actually training 6 days a week. They start their day at 8 a.m., and they don't finish until 10. And there's, of course, breaks and workouts, but we have all of our players training, and then we have all of our support staff in a dedicated area where they will be coaching and analyzing all of our gameplay. So what's really cool in esports is that it's starting to rival other professional sports, not just on the athlete side, but on the support side as well. So we have to think about how do we optimize the psychology that's involved in developing an esports athlete? Well, you need a mental coach, right? You need a head coach, you need an assistant coach. You need to make sure that the stress and game day preparation is kind of all optimized for that day of competition to maybe win that $25 million prize.
And these are the kind of resources that professional sports teams have today, right?
Yep, that's exactly right.
I mean, you guys are even going to have, I think, a nutritionist and a chef. I mean, even that level of resources. Why is that important versus just eating pizza and drinking soda all day?
I mean, I love soda and pizza every now and again too. But you know, the thing is that you're playing for $25 million. There's hundreds of millions of people watching these tournaments online. There's a lot at stake. You're training, you're committing, you're sacrificing all of your personal relationships and your time to this game, to your team. And that means that we have to provide the right support structure. We have to develop a competitive advantage as Team Liquid to recruit and retain the best athletes in the world. The only way that we're going to do that is by having a facility, building a winning culture. And that starts with our partnership with Alienware, which happened 6 years ago, to what it is today, which is this new facility.
Yeah, it's completely, I mean, a massive revolution from anything we've done up to now. And obviously, there's a lot of focus on the athlete. Our responsibility on the hardware couldn't be more massive. We couldn't take that more personal than we do. I mean, from our perspective, outside of vehicle racing, there isn't another sport where the athlete's dependency on their equipment, on their hardware, is as great as it is in esports. So up to now, obviously, we've been partnered on the hardware side. We've been providing Team Liquid with amazing hardware, the most reliable gaming systems you could possibly get out there. But that's been our primary focus. What we're doing is we're evolving that now to the athlete as well.
Yep.
We're not moving, but we're growing the focus to the athlete. And how do we make the athlete the absolute best they possibly can be? How do we take their competitiveness from which is already over here to an even higher level? And once you get to that level, for anybody else to compete against you guys, they're going to have to make the same type of investment.
That's exactly right.
So it changes the game in some way, if you will. It definitely elevates the bar, and it's going to be pretty amazing. So you said LA opening.
Oh, so we have two facilities. One's going to be opening in LA later this month, which we're super excited about. We're putting the finishing touches on it. And then we also have a location that's going to be in the Netherlands.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Thanks. Thank you very much,
you
sir.
very much,
Thank you for
Jessica.
joining us. Frank and Steve, congratulations on both of all your successes. One final section of today's event, building on Dell's commitment to sustainable business supply chain and design. Dell is at the forefront of sustainability and new ways of doing business. Lucky for us, we have a special guest who knows a lot about this, a Dell veteran who actually launched Dell's first recycled desktop PC back in 2008. Dell's head of commercial PCs, Daryl Ward. Daryl? Thank you, sir.
Morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Doing good? We're in the home stretch. It's been a while, but we're going to get you there. We saved the best part for last. That wasn't a joke. That's serious. What's the best part for last? A lot of great technology today, right? But let me tell you what I love about this company. It's not just about the technology. It's what that technology empowers you to do. It's about driving human advancement. There's a dimension of human advancement, and there's a dimension of what we do in the product group that is particularly exciting to me. It really hits home. And that's social responsibility and sustainability in our products. I'm really proud to have been at Dell doing products for many years. Not all together, but over the course of many years, we've delivered a lot of products. I was around when we delivered the first PC that used post-consumer recycled plastic. If you bought an Optiplex in 2008, there were 17 water bottles worth of plastic in that bezel. It was the first time anybody did anything like that in our industry, but at that point, we had to break that glass. It was important to the company, it's important to customers, and it's important to us that we continue to raise that bar. And we've continued to do that. We got a long list of firsts. Back in 2016, we announced the first ever recycled carbon fiber. We take recycled aerospace carbon fiber, mix it with plastic resin, and we build Latitude notebooks with it. In the last 2 years, as you can see, we've taken 2 million pounds of aerospace carbon fiber out of landfills and put them into the Latitudes that you guys buy. Pretty exciting, right? Nobody ever did that before we got here. Customers love carbon fiber, and customers love our commitment to sustainability on all of these ingredients. We've shipped 50 million pounds, well over 50 million pounds of recycled plastic. And in doing so, we actually created a closed loop plastic process in our supply chain where we're taking the recycled plastic out of that 2008 Optiplex and building 2016, 2017 Optiplexes, which is pretty amazing. That plastic is working its way through our supply chain year after year after year, not consuming more, not putting it into landfill. It's pretty awesome. Last year, we broke new ground as well. The Ocean Plastics Program. How many of you guys have heard of this? It's a pretty big deal, pretty big deal. We actually are going to win a CES award for this. We're actually taking ocean plastic out of the ocean, out of the beaches, out of the landfills, and using it, putting it into our supply chain, and building packaging for that beautiful XPS 13 that you saw earlier today. We've been doing that for about a year. Now the challenge for us is to scale that. How do we take more ocean plastics out? How do we put more into the supply chain and build that benefit across more products? And then today, the big news today on sustainability. We're moving from plastic to carbon fiber, now to metals. First time ever, anybody in the technology business has created a closed loop supply chain for metal being recycled out of technology. It's a crazy point. You can see it up there on the screen. There is 800 times more gold in 1 ton of motherboards than there is in 1 ton of ore mined from the earth. That's a phenomenal number. 800 times the gold sitting in landfills, dying to be resurrected and put back into PCs versus digging it out of the earth and doing more damage. So we're committed to driving this. So that's what you're seeing today. We're announcing our closed loop gold recycling program, and what you're going to see is a Latitude that will come out, the Latitude 5285, that will use closed loop gold in the motherboard. This is that motherboard. So it's not a ton of gold, it's not a ton of volume, but you got to start somewhere, right? If we don't start this now, and we don't start taking these precious metals out of the landfills and putting them back into the ecosystem, then we've all failed. So we got a commitment that we're going to ask you to take later on today. But for now, so here's another piece of news. We're taking way more gold out of our recycling program than we can actually put into the supply chain at this point. We're just starting out. Supply chain can't really handle everything we're taking out, but we got a ton of gold left over. So what are we going to do with it? Well, that's the second thing we're going to talk about today. We've entered into a great partnership with someone you're probably very familiar with. I want to welcome activist, actress, and entrepreneur Nikki Reed, and she's going to talk to you about her program to supply jewelry in partnership with Dell. Come on out, Nikki.
That was very well said. Thanks, sir. So you guys are probably wondering what I'm doing here. I promise it'll make sense in a second. Where are you going?
I'm gonna
Oh, you're grabbing that. Okay. We're shaking it up. So like Dell, I also built my own business, Buy You With Love, on the principles of sustainable design. And I'm constantly learning new things, and I'm continually shocked by the amount of waste, which is why when Dell approached me with this idea, I was immediately on board. So something I've learned, you may or may not know this, I didn't know this, so I'm going to assume you didn't. $60 million of gold and silver every year is thrown away by Americans alone. Sorry, $60 million from technology. So I heard that, and I'm sure you have the same reaction I had, which is we should probably do something with that gold. That's a lot of gold. Also, 12.5% of electronics are recycled. That's it. It's
not much.
Not much. And you're probably thinking the same thing I was thinking, which is we should do something about that. So we decided to partner on something that's very special, something that's never been done before. And the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure, is very appropriate here. We're literally taking trash and turning it into true treasure. So the gold that's in this motherboard that he is holding has been extracted.
That's right.
And we are repurposing it, and we're putting it back into new computers and servers and, of course, my personal favorite, sustainable jewelry. I'm sure it's yours too, right? I can't wait to get your hands on some earrings.
I just can't wait for the men's collection to fully be launched.
Well, we do have cufflinks, so I've got those for you.
I'm looking for rings and necklaces as well.
You know what?
What do you guys think? I mean, do you guys realize how much gold was in some of these circuit boards? No. Have you ever seen anything like that? That's a lot of gold. It's a good representation of it. So you see traces, you see pads for chips, and you see connectors that are primarily gold in a lot of these circuit boards.
And one thing to add, the gold that we're creating is not gold-plated jewelry. I mean, the gold jewelry we're creating, it's not gold-plated jewelry. It's 14 to 18 karat gold. So there you go.
So it once was this,
and
then it becomes
this and the cufflinks that you're going to be wearing, and some of what you see behind me. And pretty wild that you actually created this technology. I mean, when? When?
Well, it's been a long time in coming. We've been working on this for probably almost 2 years, and we just got to the point to where we can pilot it. So it is in our supply chain in a controlled way on one platform, so that we make sure that there's integrity and the customers that are buying these products are actually getting what they really need. But you have to keep the pressure on us to scale this, right? And so Nikki's going to keep pressure on us. Keep pressure on us, but we've got an ask of you.
So the goal is really to bring visibility to the value within technology, the literal value within technology, but also to create something beautiful along the way. And I also want to encourage people, as does Daryl, to continue to recycle their electronics with Dell, because without that, this cannot continue.
Right. Dell's had a recycle program with Goodwill. How many of you guys are aware of that?
Oh.
Not enough.
No, not enough, but some people are.
Recycling your electronics, by and large, is generally free. Even Las Vegas has a program where you can recycle your electronics for free. Goodwill has a program with Dell, but of course, Goodwill takes other things other than Dell. But our call to action for you is to stop throwing away your electronics.
Yeah. We thank you, and the planet thanks you.
Planet thanks you, yes.
So just a little bit about the jewelry. So the entire collection is circular in nature, which is meant to reflect this beautiful world that we live in. But also, to talk about continuously reusing and repurposing materials and, striving for a circular economy and zero waste. And also, by the way, just to add to that, helping to eliminate the need to source virgin materials and further deplete our resources.
That's right. Well, so call to action. We already covered it. Stop throwing away your your electronics, right? You got to keep us in business and keep Nikki in business. Give us that gold. Give us all those materials to put back into our supply chain.
That's true, but also I'll just add that by 2050, we're meant to have 9.6 billion people on this planet. So a circular economy is not really an option. It's pretty imperative. As much as it's about business, it's also about that as well. So you can find the entire collection at bayouwithlove.com, and it's BAYOU, like the Louisiana Bayou, or at Bayou with Love, which is our social media handle.
And I want to thank you. You gave me in on backstage You gave me a beautiful ring to give to my wife, so thank you very much. I'm sure she's going to appreciate that.
You can wear it too.
Well, I was thinking maybe you can get one in my size
works.
on the pinky. All right.
There you go.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all. Jessica, come on out.
You guys.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Very inspiring work. Congratulations. Nice to meet you too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, so thanks, Daryl and Nikki. Definitely inspiring stuff to hear. Also, I cannot wait to buy some of that jewelry because I will definitely be wearing that. Now, what I'd like to do now to close the show is invite the rest of our cast from earlier on in the day back on stage, kind of like our curtain call. So everybody come on out. Also, I know that Sam has a request for all of you guys in the audience.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Jesse. Hey, I wanted to ask you guys to please keep all your ideas and feedback coming to us. This has been a great session today. We've loved sharing some of the stuff we're doing with you guys, but I got to say, the ideas and the brilliance are everywhere in this room. They're not here, they're with you guys. So continue to be our inspiration, help driving us to do great things. And I'll tell you, we're committed to this business and turning out some incredible edge devices. So it inspires us. You guys push us. Keep it coming.
Awesome. All right, a big round of applause, everybody. Thank you. That is a wrap. All right. So for those of you that want to stick around for the Q&A, so press and analysts in the room, we do have time.